Hello, my spooky darlings. Welcome to Streams and Screams, the online show thing in which I watch a movie that is currently streaming online that I liked and I tell you about it. So today I am going to be talking about Megalomaniac, which is a Belgian film by writer-director Karim Ouelhaj. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Probably not. This movie is playing on Shudder currently. That is where you can watch it. I will start with mention that there would be an avalanche of trigger warnings on this film. I do not recommend it to everyone. It is not for the faint of heart. It is what I would call a new French extremity, which means you should probably stay away if you are at all turned off by the term extremity. Like it's a little extreme. It's a little over the top, shall we say. New French extremity is a term that was coined to refer to a collection of films at the turn of the 21st century that are all very dark, very bleak, very violent, very, very aggressive, sexually deviant, and just basically all around a very upsetting time. This would include some films you may have heard of: Martyrs, Calvaire, High Tension, Irreversible, Frontiers, Trouble Every Day, Inside is another great one. These are films that were kind of fueled by a sense of social unrest that was prominent and bubbling through France at this time. They have, of course, as does every country, a very violent history, and the directors basically took a lot of inspiration from the brutality and decided to make something that echoed that on screen. Megalomaniac is essentially about generational trauma and how certain traits are forever hereditarily pushed forward when you cannot break the cycle of that intense level of trauma. This film follows a brother and sister, Felix and Martha, who are the children of the victim of a Belgian serial killer who was actually a person that existed in the 1990s in Belgium, the Mons Butcher. He killed 5 women. Their bodies were found abandoned along the roadside, I believe in plastic bags, and all of his victims were women who lived alone between the ages of 21 to 43. And if you engage in true crime, you will probably know a lot of true crime fans or folks with those interests are women between the ages of 21 to 43. So this is why we learn. Megalomaniac really kind of has a sense of loathing through its core. The 2 children grow up to sort of carry on the legacy that their father has started. Felix, very active in this, but Martha, on the other hand, is a woman that is raised and surrounded by men who hate women. Martha is herself the child of a victim of her father's, so she really doesn't have any female role models in her life at all. There's a lot going on with her psychologically, particularly in the realm of self-hatred. Every woman that she sees come into the house is there under terrible circumstances, and her witnessing of this sort of informs her idea of how women should be treated, as well as how she views herself. This is a film that really has no hope. Martha really just wants some kind of companionship. She repeatedly asks her brother Felix to collect a friend for her, and her question carries all the emotional anticipation of a child asking for a puppy. It's upsetting. I felt dirtier after watching this movie, and I actually kind of love that. The music of this film has elements of throat singing and of sort of like this Dadaist vocalization as well. It also just makes you feel very ill at ease. The performances are very physically nuanced. The characters don't have a ton of dialogue, but you really get a very good sense of who they are through their posture, through the directions that they're looking when they're speaking, the directions they're looking when they're listening, how they carry themselves, and a number of other factors that go into a very physical performance, because again, it's not a very dialogue-heavy film. Something that I would pair this film with as a double feature would be The Golden Glove, which is a German film that follows the story of real-life serial killer Fritz Honka as he does his thing. Gosh, it's really hard trying to avoid certain words and trying to keep this clean because we have hit our milestone of over 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for that. And because things tend to get flagged if there is certain content, I'm holding myself back a big way on this one. You're gonna kind of have to fill in the blanks on a lot of this. Because again, I also don't want it to be any spoilers. I want it to remain spoiler-free as much as I possibly can, and it's hard to do that sometimes. I first saw this film at Fantasia Fest, I think it was in 2022. Time was a flat circle. I did write a full review for iHorror.com. You can check that out there. I will probably try and link it in the show notes if I can. If you would like to watch Megalomaniac, again, I would do so under strong advisory. It is not the best movie maybe for someone who is easily disturbed by depravity and excessive violence. So if that's you, skip it. But if you would like to see something that is going to really challenge you, if you are a fan of New French Extremity, I would definitely recommend Megalomaniac to you. You can see it now streaming on Shudder, and if you would like, you can watch the trailer right now.
Nous apprenons cependant de sources sûres que la cellule Corpus, lancée il y a 25 ans au moment de l'affaire du dépeceur de Mons, a été réactivée. En plus de 20 ans, les enquêteurs ont suivi près de 1700 pistes sans jamais trouver aucune preuve. Aujourd'hui, la région est donc terrifiée à nouveau.
Donc là, c'est juste une petite visite de courtoisie pour vérifier que vous allez bien. Et au boulot, ça va?
Ouais, ça va. Il faut bien faire quelque chose. Il faut absolument faire quelque chose.
T'as fouillé dans ma chambre.
Tu m'avais promis un jour de la compagnie.
Je suis pas papa. C'est bien trop dangereux pour toi.
Je te jure, je vais bien m'en occuper.
Tu dois y travailler. Ne pas te faire remarquer, c'est important, Martha. T'as intérêt à t'en occuper. Sinon, il y aura des conséquences, c'est clair. J'ai fini mon travail. Je vais m'occuper de toi.